Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching KTN Prime, and right now we are moving on to our discussion tonight, talking about the Garissa University attack, which occurred on April 2nd, 2015, resulting in the tragic death of 148 people and 79 injuries, mostly students, at the hands of Al-Shabaab militants who stormed the institution. This year's 11th anniversary of the attack has served as a moment of remembrance for the victims. Now, following the 2015 tragedy, the university was temporarily closed, reopened in 2016, and awarded a charter in 2017. The attack remains a somber moment in Kenyan history, marked by national tributes to the victims, many of whom were Christian students targeted in the dormitories. That's our discussion today, and I have a very beautiful panel tonight. I'll begin with the gentleman just close by. That's John Mwariri, who is an advocate working with the Kituo cha Sheria.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you, John, indeed. And also we have Rachel Gikonyo, who is a terror attack survivor. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
Also we have Nelias Njuguna, who is a human rights lawyer, here to tell us the human rights violations as far as this attack is concerned. I'm happy to have you here,
It's
Nelias.
a pleasure to be here.
And of course, also we have Janai Njeka, very brave to come on this show to tell us the story of your loved one. You are a bereaved father, and indeed it's lovely to just have you come on this show and tell us more about what happened to your loved one. Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady, for making time. I'll just want to begin with you. Let's begin with you, Rachel Gikonyo. Your experience as a terror attack survivor. Tell us a bit about your story. What exactly happened?
Yeah, I was a student in Garissa University. I joined in 2014. The attack took place in 2015, April. We were praying in one of the classrooms in the university. Then the terrorists came in and they banged the door open since we had closed the door to have our morning devotion. It was around 5:30 a.m. and they started shooting randomly to the people, beginning with those who were close to the door. They shot several times. Then after around 8 minutes, they got to where I was lying down facing the wall to avoid eye contact with the terrorists because I was afraid. And they shot me on my back and in my legs and my rib cage, yeah, around 7 times. But this was taking place in rounds. They would shoot, then they go to the other students, and then they come back to confirm whether the students are still breathing, and they would shoot again. Yeah, that's how I was attacked. Yeah, along other 30 Christian members.
Rachel,
yeah,
very, very intense account there of what happened to you. I'm just interested to know the bravery of perhaps you're saying you did not want to look at their faces. What was going through your mind at that time? You're hearing gunshots. You've also been shot at, and as you say 7 times. What was happening to you right now? What was going through your mind?
At that moment, I knew it was a matter of life and death. So I was expecting maybe I will die, or maybe if I survive. I was very, very afraid how my life will change, because I felt that the impact of the bullets was too much on me. Yeah.
How did you manage to get out of that scene? What do you have at least memories, perhaps, of maybe someone coming to carry you, or how did you manage to get out and get medical assistance to you being alive today?
Yeah, we stayed after they attacked us. We stayed there for around 4 hours, and it is in that moment that some students started dying because of losing blood and the pain, and they would cry to their death. And then I was there wondering whether I will survive or maybe I will collapse. Then after those 4 hours, the Recce squad came in and they started giving first, taking the students according to the level of injury. Those who could walk, they helped them out. And then later on, because I couldn't even wake up because of the impact, they carried me in a stretcher to the ambulance and then to the Garissa hospital for first aid. Yeah.
I don't know if you may be able to recall. I know probably the experience was very intense for you that time. Like you're saying, you were wondering if you're going to survive, what will happen to you. I know probably there was that traumatic experience of looking at other students who are trying to gasp for breath just perhaps to stay alive.
Yes.
But when you say that the Recce squad arrived, would you perhaps know how long it took for them to arrive, perhaps for even to get that medical assistance to save your life?
Yeah, because the attack took place at around 5:30 a.m. They came around 10 a.m. or there about maybe 10:30 a.m. Yeah.
Would you remember if you were receiving some assistance from many people around you that may have at least allowed you to stay alive until you got that much needed medical address?
No one was there to help because all the other students were lying down. They couldn't wake up. And those who could wake up, they didn't have any strength to help the other students. So we waited for that time with no one to help. Yeah.
And it sounds like a miracle to be alive.
Yes.
You consider it a miracle?
Yeah, very much.
We'll come back to you. I listened to her story, Janai, and I'm imagining, as a bereaved father, what really do you feel when you listen to this account? And of course, being one who was bereaved, lost a loved one in that whole experience. Tell us a bit about your loved one.
I remember that day. Nilikuwa nimeenda nyumbani for Easter holidays. Then nikapigiwa simu with one of the church members. Kaniuliza, Janai, have you got any report from Garissa? Kaambia, no, sijaongeleshwa. Then akanyamaza. Ilipofika almost 11, then nikapata news that Garissa University was attacked. I could not do anything. Nikawa stuck, I could not eat. I was trying to think, how can it be? How is my daughter feeling now? I tried to call from that time, 11 mpaka 4 evening, hiyo simu haikuwa inachukuliwa. There's nothing. Ikakuwa mambo sasa kufuata, where is she? Is she alive? Is she dead? It was very painful moment by that time. I remember wakati the survivors walipoletwa hospitali. Tulienda several times kwa hospitali kwa survivors wale wamekuwa injured hawakupatikana. Tukajaribu kumtafuta kwa wale wako alive hawakupatikana. Tukaenda mortuary pale Jeromo, it was very chaos. It took me almost 2 weeks kupata my beloved one. Because have congested how it was, the arrangements hazikuwa sawa. If you can remember, kwa wale wanasikiza, maybe wanaweza kukumbuka kulikuwa na chaos that kuna mwili ilikuwa naibiwa. That parents walikuwa wanajaribu kupigana pale mortuary. It was I and the other parents also. You see, hiyo vita haikuwa mzuri by the way. Wakati mtu anapokumbuka kitu kama hicho, anaona ni kama that the common mwananchi hana mahali pa kukimbilia. Anaona kama the person ambaye ako chini is helpless. You see, kwa Kiswahili wanasema mfamaji ukamata maji. Huwezi hold maji, but unajaribu kama kushika maji. That's what we are passing through today.
So you say you feel that, even the communication was not very good from the institution?
The communication was not good, every part.
Even from the security officers?
Everywhere. Where tulikuwa supposed kupata communication haikufanyika. Naweza sema until today, hakuna proper communication iliweza kufanywa that this is what happened. Hakuna proper report ambayo tulishawahi pata, this is were expired on the place. I getting? Justice bado haijapatikana until today. Najaribu kufikiria the injured one. Umesikia vile amesema 7 bullets. Kama si Mungu hangekuwa amesurvive. Najaribu kufikiria in my mind that najua my daughter was shot on head. Alikuwa amelala hivi juu akawekelea mkono, then she was shot. Najaribu kufikiria that pain ambayo the students walipitia. You see, this person hana muscle, sijui unanipata, hana muscle mwili kubwa that maybe risasi itaingia at least. I getting? Alafu the government inanyamaza tu, as though there's nothing happened.
What do you feel the government could have done better in addressing that situation that would make you feel that the loss of your loved one was addressed adequately?
Kenya iko na sheria nzuri sana. Alafu katika all institutions, before taifunguliwe, the prime things ambazo inaangaliwa is about the constitution strategic plan, umeweka place safety for the watu ambao katika ile premises itakuwaje. Ndio unaweza kuruhusiwa cooperate that. So hizo regulations kama zingefuatwa. Mbali na zile threats ambazo zilikuwa zimewekwa in place, warnings ambazo zilikuwa zimepeanwa, procedure ingefuatwa vizuri, losses hazingepatikana, hata mmoja hangekufa. But because our government, ni watu wale wako katika government ni kama they are working as robots, that they don't have feelings. They don't listen. I getting? You say a robot, una program how to work. Me neither some of the people that are in government are like robots. Lazima programmed. Fanyeni hivi so that it can work. Today hatungekuwa tunaongea hizi. Things kwa sorted out mapema. Watu wangekuwa nasema yes, hata kama ilitokea, but the government wako na sisi. You see, unaweza kosea mtu na urealize kweli umekosa as a human. Uko na ile roho ya utu, getting humanity ambayo tunakosa in the government.
All right. I'll come back to you, Janai. Nelius, you hear these two conversations, and one of the key things that's coming out very prominently is the issue of human rights violations. You listen to Janai, and his sentiments are much more could have been done by the government to avert this situation. Do you think that would have been possible?
That is the case because even Kituo cha Sheria went to court, and part of the case was that they were stating that there were warnings that there would be an attack in Garissa County. Even the American embassy and other embassies were issuing security alerts that there is an imminent threat at Garissa. The principal of Garissa University also wrote a letter to the county commissioner requesting for additional security because of these threats at the university. And even the day before the attack, the students received SMSs telling them that there would be an attack. But because it was 1st of April, they thought it's a Fool's Day prank. All these alerts and warnings, the government knew that there is an imminent threat, and the court agreed with the case that the government ought to have known, or they knew that there was a threat, and therefore they needed to take action to protect the citizens, the students, because what the court held is that under Article 1 of the Constitution, that the sovereignty of the people, that all sovereign power belongs to the people. And because of that, they delegate it to the government. Because they have delegated it to the government, they expect to be protected. Their right to life needs to be protected, and their security. And now the government derelicted this duty by the fact that they received these warnings, but they did not act on them. And even the Westgate attack had happened in 2014, and there were recommendations made about the response. And these were not implemented. And when it happened now during the attack, if those recommendations they didn't learn even from the Westgate attack about responding to a terror attack, and therefore on the day of the attack, the response was slow and delayed. She said it started at 5:30 a.m. and the RECE squad was arriving in the evening since morning. And between that time, as she has even stated herself that there were students who were bleeding out. Probably if the response was fast, even those who had been attacked could have gotten medical attention, and the casualties would have been lowered, because from how I interacted with some of the survivors, and they were saying that at some point many were hiding, but they were tricked by the terrorists that if you come out, we will spare you. And it's all this time, it's almost 4 or 5 hours into the attack, and the shootings were still taking place. Mm-hmm. And therefore the government ought to have responded very fast and sent the RECE squad as a priority, because they're the ones who are trained to handle these. Instead, they sent the KDF and the police, who are not as specialized in dealing with such terror attacks.
John,
yeah.
All right. John, of course, like Nelias mentions, there's been a court case. One of the key issues that came out is, on the side of the state, saying that there was no sufficient evidence to prove that there was negligence. I don't know what you feel about this, because as you listen to Janai and you listen to what Nelias is saying, and of course just the account from Rachel speaks of, as the Constitution indicates, that it is the right of the Kenyan to demand that protection from the security apparatus of the country. Do you think perhaps there was negligence in this case? And is there really evidence? Because there was that argument about having sufficient evidence to prove that there was actual negligence or slow-paced response to, like what she's mentioned, messages.
Yes, actually, if you look at the court judgment, the court confirmed the fact that there was enough evidence to support the fact that the government was negligent. You look at the time that it took the government, actually the police, to come and rescue these survivors. It took them more than 8 hours. Like Rachel has said, the attack commenced at around 5 a.m. and we only could see RECE squad at around 6 p.m. And that is when that siege came to an end. So there was inordinate delay in the way the rescue took place. And part of the pain of some of these parents, they will tell you, is that they were receiving calls at around 11 a.m. From 5 a.m. So you receive a call at around 2 p.m., your child seeking for help. And surprisingly or strangely, the aeroplane that was supposed to come and rescue some of these students or survivors was actually being used for personal use by the police. Those are in the reports. So there is enough evidence to support the fact that the government neglected its duties to come and, actually prevent the attack. Like Nelias has said, there was sufficient intelligence and information regarding this attack. What the government did is that it was very complacent. It failed to come it failed to prevent the attack and also to mitigate the effects of the attack. Janai has just talked about aspects where even after the attack, the government has not assisted in any way. So for the court case, we are still pursuing compensation. We succeeded in the case at the High Court, and we are still pursuing compensation on behalf of the survivors and the parents.
Where are we in terms of compensation?
We are pursuing judicial review proceedings. Review proceedings are proceedings where you seek to compel the government to pay. And unfortunately, it has taken quite some time, around 2 years now, and that is the process. And it's justice delayed, and I also can relate to the pain of these parents and survivors that they have really waited for, that compensation. But this was a very sad case. I've handled a number of cases, the 1998 bomb blast case, the Rivayala case, but this one has somehow also traumatized me. When I looked at a young girl like Rachel, she's now a teacher, and I really feel so much pain because, Rachel is now disabled. She cannot do so much of what we can do as ourselves. And we were able to tell the court that if you look at Rachel now, she cannot do so much of the things that she's supposed to do. I'm sorry to say that Rachel lost the mother immediately after the attack. When the mother looked at how her girl is, she just died. The person taking care of Rachel now is the father. So you can imagine how un-African it is for a father to be changing diapers. So those were things that we were able to present before court. If you look at Janai there, he lost his daughter, I think his only daughter. We have so many parents, they tell you, and these are stories from them, that when they look at girls the age of Rachel, or boys the age of Rachel, they say that, I wish my son was there, disabled as Rachel, and for me to just look at them to see that they are there even if they are in a cabbage state. So that is how sad this case was. But we are happy at least the court was able to agree with us that the government was in dereliction of its duty to protect and also to mitigate the effects of the attack. Yet,
it's still another conversation until this moment.
We are still pursuing compensation for them.
All right.
Yes.
I want us to take a short break. When we return, I want to hear from you, Rachel, how you're dealing with your new life now after the experience that you went through. We'll take a short break. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.